We have a few more joining and then we'll begin. So maybe I'll start smudging. I think I have everything together. I feel like I have so much, but not enough. So I hope you got a little bottle. If you have a little glass bottle of some kind. They can even be as small as this. So they don't have to be big. You can even use a wine glass. I like to use my old olive oil jars. Beautiful. Love it. Light this baby up. I forgot it was so early yesterday. So used to the 9 o'clock classes. I don't even know why I did one. Maybe I just didn't change the time when I set it up. It's the default time. But I love it because it's like afternoon magic. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, well, I think we can get started. We'll probably get some beeps, but that's okay. You will also get an audio, or you'll get a copy of this too. Okay, so you will, you can take notes. Certain things will flash at you when we talk about magic. Maybe certain situations or people or memories. So you want to kind of just be open to whatever comes to mind, because those will have to do with the earth magic. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my water here because I know once I start talking, I'm not going to stop. Okay. Find all my stuff. Let's begin. So, like I said, I have lots to cover. At the end, I will make sure we have time. If you have any questions about what you learned today, or questions about your own life that maybe you think will connect to the earth element, we can talk about that. I love the earth element. And, you know, it's really important for us to connect with the power of the earth. And, you know, there was a time where I don't feel I had a strong stable life at one point. And it was through my connection to the earth that changed my life and helped me become who I am today. And I want to get into that. So earth-based magic involves working with the cycles of the earth. It involves its seasons and its weather, but the earth element is one of the most closely linked with our physical world and who we are, and the densest of all the elements. It governs money, property, business, our security, loyalty, responsibility, and anything that is connected to our physical body, our health, our business affairs, and our finances. It is the feminine element of the Mother Goddess, and it stands for stability and growth. It's the foundation on which the other elements move. Earth is a receptive energy. Take that part in. It's receptive. So when we work with the earth element, it helps us receive, and it's the power behind what we are manifesting. So it's a receptive energy, and it helps us to accept our responsibility, and it also brings our attention to our limitations in our own makeup or in our own life. In Earth season, the Earth season is winter. So think about what we go through in the winter. Total preparation and change, and a whole other aspect of who we are comes out. So Earth helps us put our attention to our limitations. And if you think about it, think about the Earth's limitations that you feel in your life right now. Maybe you're dealing with health, or maybe you're dealing with finances. Well, these are showing where our limitations lie. And it's also helping us find our direction for the stability that our spirit needs, our heart, mind, and spirit. So the element of earth, the season is winter, and its direction is the north. So whenever we are doing money magic or healing magic that has to do with like changing the physical body, the earth element is what we want to use. And I will actually face in the north direction. So try to see where your north direction is in your home, because, you know, it's important for us to turn to the elements when we turn to them in magic. And it does help us call in that spirit. So Earth season and our magic of Earth is about dealing with those limitations so that we get past them. And that's because we're meant to. The other thing that is so sacred about the Earth is not that it's just the element of the north, but in the natural environment, Earth's place is a cave. And that is the symbol of shelter, the womb, rebirth, but it's also the home of ancient oracles. And in our history, there's so many magnificent women, soothsayers, healers, wise ones that lived in caves. And a lot of times when we journey to visit the goddess, we visit her in her caves, the amethyst cave. When we visit the crone, we go into this like long cave that clears us as we keep pushing and walking our way to her. So caves are the representation of the womb. It also represents rebirth and the home of ancients, which is cool. Here in New Brunswick, there's lots of places with caves, ice caves and sea caves. Like, how amazing is that? The other thing is, other places associated with the element of earth are forests, valleys, and fields. You can go into a field, into anywhere really, where you can actually connect to the power of nature. That means that it's like pure. There's nothing that's been cut. It's just the way the earth is. And we can feel that when we enter those places. So many people find freedom when they go into this place. And earth governs our home. So when you think about the element of spirit that's in your home, every home has a spirit. And that spirit is created daily. It becomes and changes as we do, and the people who live in our house do. And because earth governs the home, it also influences the areas of physical needs, such as the bathroom, the dining room, where the things that we got to do, the practical tasks. So earth is the element of buildings. And you know, I did a lot of property in my past. My husband and I had flipped 22 properties in our life. And right now we have 5. And I know it's because I was able to connect to those buildings. Every one of them I could see connect to the spirit inside of it, and I can also connect to what it wanted to be. And so I love the home. I love going to see people's home and feeling the spirit of their essence. It's like when you hug someone, you can feel their essence sometimes. Sometimes it's like nothing. It's like cold. That's, you know, that means that, you know, the connection could be somewhere else or none at all. But when you hold someone that you love and you can actually feel their essence, that's the power of the earth element as well. And so this element is the element of buildings. It's also the element of financial institutions. So when I go into the bank, I prepare myself and I tell the universe that whatever I am paying, I want back 3 times. Or now I should start saying 10 times, forget the 3 times. Bring me back, you know, what I'm paying out tenfold. And we can do that. But it also represents our cooking and the way we feed ourselves. It represents our gardening, our farming, anything that requires work with our hands. So whatever we're doing with our hands, even healing, Earth's energy is in there. It's involved. Earth personalities love to be surrounded by family. And a lot of you are doing the series Earth, Air, Fire, Water magic, and you'll find that some elements you connect better with others. But Earth is a must. It is a foundation. So Earth's personalities love to be surrounded by family. They enjoy pleasures. They enjoy the pleasures of their senses, everything they see and smell. And they also have a healthy consciousness. So when we're sitting there munching, and as we're munching, you're hearing, you should stop. That's the earth element. And I mean, it talks to me every day. It's like, I need to lick some sugar. And it's like, no, it'll put you in a coma. So earth guides us when it comes to the things that we crave. And so whenever I crave something, I can actually connect to knowing, you know, am I in a place of guidance or am I in a place of insecurity? And think about how many people sabotage, you know, their healthy day because of something that happens. I mean, I love comfort food. Okay. When I get out of some days and it's like connecting and reading, all I want is some comfort food. And that is that earth element that we are connecting to. We're trying to find that joy of pleasure to get into our senses. So there is so much earth element in our life. Like when we become aware of it, it's so super abundant. The earth element also slows things down. So remember, earth element is always grounding. It's not going to give you that, you know, that wave where you're like, I got it, and then you just run. That's when you connect to another element. Earth's energy wants us to ground. So all of you, I told you to have a stone, just a regular rock that you found outside. Nothing special, but to me they all are. And I want you to put that earth element into your hand as we keep talking, into your left hand. And you can hold it tight or just have it sitting there, but take note on how it feels when you first put it in your hand. So the earth's element is about our abundance and our security, but it wants us to slow things down when things become difficult. That's the call. We have to find and seek the guidance of how to deal with certain things in our life. And the first thing that comes is how we feel in life with our finances, but also our body. And so the earth element wants us to get stable. It actually causes an inability for us to take dares. So if you're like, should I do it? The earth element will want you to stay put. It wants you to stay closer to home, and it wants you to find your home. It does teach you how to branch out, but in a stable way where you can actually see your path. And the earth element works with our present life. So if we want to do and call in money for our future, we do need to use earth element, but we also have to use the air. Okay, so we use the different elements as an ingredient to put things together. There's certain gods and goddesses that are associated with the earth, and you can go back into the ancient times and you can connect with energies of Gaia, the earth goddess. You can even connect to the great oracle of Delphi. Okay, you can, if you're dealing with untamed energy or chaos, you can call upon the god Pan, because he represents the spirit of untamed nature. He was known as the ancient god of wild things, the lord of the woods, and the god and consort of the triple goddess. He also represents sexuality and vitality. And that's one of the reasons why he was shown as half man, half animal. Because he is a hunter, but he also identified with the sacrificed and the hunted animal. The other thing that is associated with the earth element is the cauldron. And it doesn't matter what size your cauldron is, but the cauldron represents the earth mother. And when we burn inside of the cauldron, the smoke spirals. You will always see a spiral. And that is the reason why. Inside of this cauldron is the earth mother, the goddess's belly. And that belly is the power of creation. So when we burn our sacrifices, our intention papers, or the things that piss us off, and we just write it down and burn it, because I do that a lot, and it works well, then I don't have to carry it. I'll even write F you to whatever I need to and burn it and throw it in. You will see the smoke either go in a clockwise position or a counterclockwise. And that tells us, is our magic going into a place of power and generating the magic that we want? Or is it doing a release? So if I'm doing money magic and I see a release and it's going counterclockwise, I know that I need to release the things that are stressing me out and readjust until I see a spiraling clockwise power building. I know that I need to keep working on banishing the things that are causing my mental stress. So the cauldron is very sacred. And that spiral represents the spirit world just taking it and it's showing you the pendulum goes into a circle or a counterclockwise, right? Same with the cauldron. The other symbol for the earth element is the pentacle and the pentagram. And we'll get into that too today. And you'll see a lot of people will wear, you know, pieces of jewelry, and a lot of people wear this, and a lot of people will even get it tattooed. So we have lots to go into. But cauldrons are used for many different purposes. And you can use a large cauldron over an open fire. A lot of times I have a little tray that holds a tea light, and I'll cook my stuff on it in the cauldron. So we'll make brews and potions and burn herbs. We will also, this is something that I like to do, and I'm totally going off topic, but something you can try. But it's a cauldron spell. And what I like to do is I like to have my cauldron over a candle, and I fill the cauldron with pure spring water halfway up, and I let it warm up. And then as it warms up, I'll add certain herbs that I want for my intent. So if it's money or healing, then I stir the cauldron with a wooden branch. So I choose a certain wand or wood that I want, and then I speak to the swirling water. And as I'm speaking to the water, and I blow in 3 times, I always blow into my water 3 to get the ripple effects. And as the water simmers, the steam starts to rise. And so then I'll use that for divination. A lot of times I will add some cinnamon to it after it steams, and then I'll pour some olive oil into it, into the simmering water. And at that point, I'll get rid of the flame. So once I add the olive oil, I get rid of the candle or the flame, and I look into the water. I usually let it cool for a little bit until that bubbling stops. And then I look into the cauldron and I read what I see floating in the oily surface. And you know, the cauldrons were traditionally used to scry. So when you fill it with water and light a candle, you can look into the cauldron just like it's a crystal ball. I love it. I even cleanse things with my cauldron just by using, you know, certain waters that I make. So when you look at the surface, now each of us have our own symbols that mean something specific. And what you want to do is you want to look for a personal symbol. But the more you use this technique, the more the symbols will manifest. And if this is something you enjoy and it worked and you got a symbol, you will be able to create a symbology, a whole page or a book, depending on how far you want to go, of what that means. So all of a sudden you'll see a raven. If you see the raven and then you go out and you see the raven, then you know that that means whatever is happening in your life that day is where the medicine lies. When I'm done, I do use it as an offering. So I will pour my cauldron fluid onto the earth. And I always say thank you, or I usually say thank you. So historically, a day dedicated to the earth goddess was something that people would do. And they would do this ritual that I talked about. They would do that so that they could connect to the Earth Mother. So it's just not a divination. It's for you to connect to that power of her and the power of creation within your cauldron. So it is something that is used to activate the power in your cauldron as well. but it's also to help bring on to the power of the things that you're brewing. And you can work with a cauldron in your magical room, in the kitchen, wherever. But when we use our cauldrons and when we use the element of earth, we're conjuring power that lives in the material realm. And I love that because it's the power of before the creation and what comes about. A whole cycle that becomes tangible. And that is what magic and manifestation is really about. Learning how to conjure and connect to the spirit of the earth realm. See, when we do our magic, it is not us that is making things tangible. It is our connection to the elements of nature. Each element is the root maker of the things that we receive through the natural forces that are taking place. And that's one reason why we like to use the full moon cycle. But many of us are going through a cycle each and every day. So if I read that there is, Jupiter is in power, then I will align that with the earth element and focus on my finances. So the elemental forces that we call about are not just the earth. Every grain of the earth has spirit. And when we're walking our day, we are invoking the spirit. And that's why as soon as we feel like shit, we want to cleanse ourselves or we want to deal with it, get rid of it, don't carry it because it's, going 4 feet under. Our orc body goes 4 feet into the ground with every step we take. And so we use this because it represents the birth of our creations. The cauldron can also be used to bless our tools. When we make certain potions, we can use that water to bless our tools, and we can also give offerings to the earth. Whatever we make in our cauldron is an offering. The other thing we can do is create a paste. And I have, maybe I'll do this part. This part's going to take some time. So maybe I'm going to highlight this so that I know and do the spell. Because it's really neat. And it's supposed to be an offering that we give the tree. So we're going to get into a little bit of that too. But the other thing I want to talk about is the spirits that we're invoking. So there is lots of nature spirits. There's encyclopedias of them. And you can get into certain nature spirits like fairies and gnomes and all the other things that exist. But I like to work with dragons. And each element has the power of the dragon around it. And the earth dragons are ruled by a dragon named Grail. Many people have heard of the Holy Grail. Well, the earth dragon's name, the gatekeeper of the dragon that rules all earth elements, is known as Grail. But it's spelled Grael. But it's easy to remember because I always think the Holy Grail. And the elemental color is pure green. So the earth dragons, people can sense and see in the leaves, the green leaves of the trees when they look at the forest. So if you have a view of a forest and trees, you can look at them and you might see the dragon. And you might see them move. They also will show themselves in shades of brown and black, depending on what they're dealing with. But the earth dragon comes into our home when we do our earth magic. And a lot of times our homes will feel cold and dry. So if you find that your house is cold and dry, it could be that there is an earth dragon around. They're very quiet. So these spirits are more of spirits that observe from a distance until they're ready to approach you. But they watch us and they take a look at how we're reacting and how stable we are. And they're taking note on those things, not to haunt us, but to help us. These are spirits of nature. They don't carry negativity. And a lot of times they don't recognize it. So they watch you. It's like they read body language. So once you observe and connect, once you feel that energy where your home feels cold and dry, which is one reason why I have so much drinks around me right now, because I know just talking about this, I was going to be like, I even had to put cream on my lips. I know that I'm just going to get so dehydrated. So if you're finding that you're getting dry in class right now, it is because that earth dragon is coming around. So once you befriend an earth dragon, they're very straightforward and they're blunt and they'll be honest with you, but they're loving and they're nurturing. Now remember I said the earth will tell you if you're eating too much stuff. Well, that is what will align to the natural force of the earth dragon. And when we listen to that guidance, we will be able to create a very strong bond to the earth element. I know before I walk into a casino and I call Grail 3 times and I can feel that energy come forward, and usually it comes from my back. I feel it come from behind me. I know that I can go in and get some money. It works for me. But it's also the only avenue that I use to make extra money outside of my normal realm. And so these earth dragons want to bring us these unexpected surprises and pleasures. So when we're doing money magic, we have to seek what avenue can they bring it to you? Maybe you get a brand new idea and it's like, you know what? It's time to, open an online gallery. And then boom, it's like better than you expected, because Earth's element brings you joy. So once they befriend you, you have someone that is very loving and nurturing. And it's like they feel like that cloak. They also have a ridge of really sharp scales down their necks and back. And their body scales are very reminiscent of armor. And you'll see that all in different cultures. So think about all of the different cultures of the world and how many of them had dragons in their history. But the earth dragons always seem to have the same type of perception of people. So their scales look like armor. And of all the dragons, these are the ones that like treasure. So anything gold, anything sparkly, okay? You like diamonds. So they like sparkly things. And so to build a relationship with your dragon, it is known to keep a jar or a dish full of coins. And you need to have one in your place of power. So where you relax, start a bowl of coins and every day just add to it. And if you hear the sound of coins or your bowl moving, that represents the earth dragon. They're activating that money. So the earth dragon's bodies tend to be very heavy. And most of them have 4 legs. And they do have wings. Their wings are actually enormous. They govern the northern quarter and the northern part of the circle. So when we call in the power of the earth, the guardians of the earth, imagine a dragon coming forward. So one thing that I like is that when we treat ourselves with respect, when we're focusing on our stability, when we're working on the things that we're being responsible for, when we're seeking strength, when we want more prosperity, and when we are trying to connect with a life purpose, that dragon comes around. But when we are unaligned with the earth element, things can become very difficult. Chaos arises in every element when we don't have our connection, especially magical people. So a lot of times, you know, all of a sudden we get this unexpected bill and it's like, what the hell? So negative associations with the earth element represents things that we need to align. That's a call. It's always a call. Difficulty is a call for healing, knowledge, and the answers. So when we become rigid, or if we have no willingness to change, you know, so many people carry their pain, and it's like, well, he's never going to change, but they don't think they need to. So there's a rigidity, right? There's an unwillingness to change. There's a stubbornness. There's a lack of consciousness. Maybe there's a weakness. Those negative associations break us from our connection to the earth. So the earth's dragon magic is a form of good, and it wants to build long-lasting foundations for us, for helping to complete long-range goals. They want to invoke stability into your life. So you can call on Grail for any physical and mental energy you need, as well as the strength to accept and get things done. Every day there's something that I'm like, oh, I know I have to like change that attitude before I even start. But when there's days where I'm waking up and it's like, oh my God, you know, sometimes you don't want to connect with other people's, you know, energy and spirits, especially when it's like hardcore, you know? And so it's important for you to get rid of those things that come into your life so that you're not being associated or attached to that energy. Like, I can't watch scary shows. If I watch a scary show, Brett is freaked out all fucking night. Pardon my language. He is freaked out because he knows I can raise things. And many of you have experienced that too. You know you can't watch certain things because you know it'll happen, or you can't think that way, or you know something bad will happen. Well, that is the earth magic that we have. And it wants us to call upon the earth whenever we need help. We're so used to taking things on ourselves, and we don't have to. And when I learned that it's easier to ask for help in the spirit world than it is in the physical world or myself, I could see how certain things work. And that is part of our evolution with the connection to the elements. So if you are experiencing, you know, physical pain, or you're experiencing stress that has to do with anything physical, ask Grail for help. Just say his name 3 times and see what you feel. There's also other kinds of earth dragons. There's stone dragons, there's nature dragons, there's mountain dragons and forest dragons. But there's also chaos dragons. So kind of look at energy as if they're dragons for this month while you're connecting to the earth. These dragons, none of them have a ruler. They're all just an elemental power. They're like a natural universal law. It's pretty cool. And we use those dragons with our air magic. When we change the direction of the air, we can call the dragons. So let's go back into a little bit more of the earth element. So practice calling Grail. You'll never invoke anything negative. You can trust in the power of nature. It doesn't think badly. It has no thoughts. It's vibration. So none of the dragons are evil. None of them are malicious. Anything evil and malicious is earthbound and made from people's mentality. Everything outside of that is nature. So they work with us, and their magic is often incomprehensible, which means we don't even know how it's coming, because the dragons always go beyond our limit view. And that's why I say, whatever you dream of, whatever your wealth is, the universe sees more for you, because we are very limited in ourselves. And so the earth magic always goes past our limited view. They love that. That's where they seek, that's where they get their energy and their food. And it's not something that is dramatic. Remember, they're stable. So they bring you the cement blocks of what you need for your greater good. And the chaos of the dragons represent the power of purity that we need to call, so that we can realize that this problem and the situation can be resolved by the universe, with the universe. We can co-create. So when we work with these dragons, they go straight to the source of our problem. We may not know what our problem is, but the dragons do. And they don't question us. We do have to confront what we're dealing with, but there's a different type of force, and it's more comfortable. You won't feel so uncomfortable when dealing with life. And we can tap in and call these hidden aspects and start to see them. So it's important for us to accept the things that we're dealing with in our physical life that is trying to create the stability and freedom that you need, but also learn to invoke the energy when chaos comes about. Because chaos dragons, when we're in chaos and we call forth Grail, that dragon will send whatever we need. So chaos dragons will come to our aid, and they act as guardians and guides. And they usually do the magic to help recreate what's happening in our life. Whether it's money, relationships, career, you can employ them to break through barriers, to change luck, and to bring in the new changes. As soon as I get to a place in my life and it's like, I hate this path. Like if I wake up and I have 3 shitty days, I change my path. That's it. I start doing magic and I'm like, nope, I don't like the way this is going. I'm going into a place of stress. I can feel myself, the vibration lowering. I'm starting to like snap or whatever it is. Then it's like, whoa. And a lot of times the dragon speaks through our own voice until we're able to hear the voice of spirit. So dragons also work through our ego, especially the earth dragon, because our ego is our protection, right? It protects us from the things that our spirit doesn't want to experience. But it can also bring us the guidance and the powerful visions of what we need to experience. So anything that hinders you forward, or right now in your present, call that dragon, invoke. Okay, and I hope you're still holding your stone. I realized mine's out. So when you're holding the stone now, and if you put it down, put it back in, it's okay. I want you to focus on just how you're feeling with it. And whenever we feel things with our left hand of the earth element, and we receive vibration or a heartbeat or warmth, then the earth element will work with you. So in the old times, people would just use regular stones. And that's why I want you to feel the spirit of the stone. Put it right in the center of your palm, and put your hand over it. Can you feel the difference of the stone over the heat of your hand? So the stone you're holding has a spirit. You want to feel that, because if there is a vibration, you need that stone in your life. So a lot of times when we use stones or crystals, you know, people know scientifically now that that vibration enters into our light bodies. We have 12 light bodies, 12 auric bodies. 7 of them, the first 7, are the portals of power through our chakras. So science knows that if we carry a stone, that vibration is going to match whatever vibration in one of our light bodies, and we receive that power. So if I hold a quartz crystal, the vibration is so high that it actually matches the crown chakra. So that crystal energy is going into that crown chakra and putting it into that natural place or enhancing it. And that's science. But when we use these stones, it is known as using stones, crystal, wood as medicine, anything earth, anything that we're using in magic is riding the dragon. And in a lot of old spells, you'll see that. Ride the dragon. That means use the power of the stone, the power of whatever energy you need for the ritual to confront what that challenge is. I look at challenges as my enemy. That's how I take it. If I got a challenge ahead of me, it doesn't matter what topic it is, I'm going to beat that. And I use my dragons. They'll also protect us from any type of catastrophe. They'll also protect us when we're in a situation that is uncomfortable. They'll come right around us. So if you carry a stone that you find outside in nature and it draws your attention, the stones that you want should feel like they've got some weight, because heavier stones have more medicine. So if you're walking on the beach and you're picking stones, if the heavier the stone, the more medicine you need, right? Go for one that feels like it's got some weight. If you pick it up and it's the same color and it's not as heavy, then you know, take the stronger one, the heavier one, and try that. Next time you go for a walk, pick 2 stones that are the same color and see which one. Oh my God, I just had so many birds go by. And see which one is heavier and use that as your medicine. But by carrying a stone and a crystal on you in your purse within 4 feet, you have a dragon presence. And it doesn't matter what crystal or stone is, none of the dragons are more powerful than others. But we can, if we feel something in our left hand, we can use it for magic. So get into the habit of feeling those things. You know, you'll see people that are doing spells and they're creating things and they're throwing their herbs in and they're lighting the candle, but have they invoked the power? So as you're holding the stone, feel the vibration, because if you just grab it and throw it in, you're not invoking any power. Yes, you'll have the vibration of the herb, but you want to put your energy into it. So now that you felt that medicine and your stone is nice and warm, put it in your right hand and see how it feels. Because it's important for us to know whether we are in a place of receiving or a place of manifestation and releasing. So hold your stone while I keep talking in your right hand for a few minutes, for a little while. And I want you to take note on which hand is more powerful, your left or your right. Which one connects to the earth energy of the stone? Okay. So I want to move on into a little more magic, earth magic. So in the sacred circle, we always say, north, the earth, the wind, the rain, assist us now upon the earth plane. And so when we say that, we are asking for help in our physical world right now as we stand. And in magic, the wind, the rain. Well, the wind carries our magic, but the rain heals the earth. So when it's raining, I only perform a candlelight. I don't do spells when it rains, because I believe, and this might not be your belief, but when it rains, to me, the earth is being healed. It's being purified. It's giving receiving the nurturing energy that it needs. And I firmly believe that our global consciousness, whether it's our community, the village we live in, the family, there is a global consciousness, and that always needs adjusting and healing. When you say hold a stone and or crystal, anyone that you need. So when I go to the beach, you're always drawn to different colors, and that usually tells me what type of energy that we want or need. The darker the color, the more grounding. The lighter the color, the more energy you need to like just feel free. So if you walk the beach and all of a sudden it's like all the white ones are like so white, make sure you get one. And that is a sign of manifestation. Okay, and we'll get into the power of the crystals and the stones as well. Actually, I'll probably have to post a little thing for it. So money. Yes, come to me. Okay, so many people are reluctant to connect to money magic. And it's because people believe that it is ego magic. And a lot of people believe that you should never teach it. But I do. I have had people tell me that I should not be teaching money magic, that it should be kept a secret. You know, nowadays it's different. You learn something, it's all over. But in the old days, all of this stuff was kept in secret. And with nature and money magic, there's no formula for success for everyone. But there is a formula for success for each of you. Okay? Money is independent. Money magic is about having a positive connection. I'll get into that in a little bit. We're going to do some stuff. So money is about having a positive connection. Money magic, you have to have a positive connection to your money. You have to have a positive connection to your future dreams and how you want to feel. You need to create a relationship with your money. And you need to make sure it's positive and you keep it that way. Our current financial situation usually is known as a direct reflection of our inner relationship with money. I used to have a fear of success. Like, I came from a place where I didn't have money as a child. Everything I created, I did with myself and my husband. But I had a fear of success. And it was like when I won my first $1,000, it was like boom, boom, boom. Like I was so nervous. It was huge. But now it's like, that's awesome. Thank you. And, you know, I'll do my thing with it. But you have to have a positive connection with it. And when we work magic, we always have to go beyond the need. So if we do money magic on what we need, there is less power in what you want. So you have to always say, okay, I need an extra $5,000. Well, I'm going to call in 7. You always have to go past the need. That's the only way to break the blocks in magic. We are our currency. If you don't like your finances, you have to change your relationship with it. And the first part is removing the mental blocks, money mental blocks. We have to understand that money to us represents some type of emotion. And even though I'm talking money, this also represents anything tangible, including the healing we need in our physical body. So we have to understand what that healing of our physical body or what that money represents as an emotion. So if I look at my bank account and it's like, makes me feel stressed, then I know I need to connect to the element of earth and get myself out of that place. But I also won't look at my bank account unless I have a candle lit, because I know I don't want to feel stressed. So we have to understand that money to us represents emotion. And so then anything else, if we stop to analyze from another perspective, the real goal is the emotion that the amount of money will bring you. So when I gamble, I use gambling as a general thing because it works for me. I do not want you to be like gamblers, okay? I'm not teaching that. But whenever I see, my slot machine or my poker table and I see money coming in, it excites me. So if I go into a place and I'm going for fun and yeah, I can't wait to see, what I come out with, and then just going for fun, I will win. If I go in and I'm like, oh my God, I got a $1,500 car payment, I'm going to go get that money, I will not win. Because you're walking in with a need instead of a desire. So it's important for us that the things that we desire in our physical world is the power. So always go past the emotion, recognize the emotion. I'm stressed. And now I need to manifest and take myself out. So we need to get to that place of emotion that the money will give us the solution. And the emotion could be freedom. Maybe you want enough money where you feel free in your life, that you don't have to worry about an unexpected bill, or you can look at it and say, oh my God, I can go on vacation as soon as I'm allowed to fly out of here. It could be the security. A lot of times it's the security we need to feel, and feeling secure, knowing that you're able to provide for your friends and your family, which means that you need what you really need to get comfortable with life. It may also represent comfort for you. So there's people that, you're feeding the ego, but in this circle, when we're doing our magic, everybody's asking for money. Some people are wanting to win the lottery. Some people just want enough to pay for their next month. Nobody is greedy. We're still all limited. It doesn't matter what anybody wants. It doesn't matter if they act materialistic or they're not. To me, I believe in a universal flow. So I know when I'm in a certain flow, my life is running forward. But if I'm not, the universe stops. It's like all of a sudden, nobody messages me for a day, and I normally get like 50 emails. And I know, okay, the universe wants me to straighten up. I'm in my own head. I'm not in a place to help people. So there's different emotions that we can call in. So some things that you want to consider. How do you see money? How does your money situation make you feel? If the person is a bum and they're lazy, then nothing in life will help them, not even magic. The intersection of metaphysical influence and financial matters. So getting rich is trickier, but magic can help us increase our chances of success and take care of the obstacles that are in the way. Half the time, we don't even know where these obstacles are coming from. It could be someone that's just sitting there saying, well, why is their grass so freaking green? One person attached to you, watching you, everything you're doing with jealousy can create a block. And that's why I smudge every day. You don't know. We don't know. Maybe our child is dealing with something, and all of a sudden we're experiencing things, and the guidance is bringing this chaos to show you. And it's like, okay, I need to really take a look and adjust. So with money magic, there is no, faking it till you make it. It's alignment, it's connection. It isn't just luck. I believe you can invoke luck. And that's what this is all about, invoking the power that we need. So there is a gift for magic, and some people are better than others. But for most part, anyone can do earth magic, money magic, and healing magic. Let's see. One thing that I like to do, I know I talked about the bank account thing. So one thing that I like to do is I use green candles when I use my money magic, and I usually rub it with olive oil. And I actually like to use basil, and I'll put basil on it. And if I feel like I'm going too low in my account than what I want, then I also put rosemary on it. And I just sprinkle them on my candles. And then I invoke the energy of the Earth Mother. And when I do that, I think about the energy that I need. So I actually think about the solution. So I'll hold my candle, and usually I like to just call Juno, because she is a goddess that seems to help me. So I'll hold and I'll Juno, 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 help me. And then I tell her what I need. I'm going to be paying all of my bills. Bring it to me 3 times. And some people will carve money into it. If there is a spark in your candle, a block has been broken. And that usually represents a cutting of a cord. So it always ties into something of the past. And we're going to do our candles pretty quick here. So I like to call Juno for money. And there is no limit on how much cash you can call in. You will feel your own limit. And that's why I want you to really take a look at how you feel about your finances. What is your limit? Where's your boundary? Where is it like, oh my God, that's so much money? When I go shopping and I want to buy something, does it feel like I'm spending a lot of money? Do you know what I mean? I always monitor where my limitations lie. Our currency, our vibration attracts what we receive. That's also with money. So always remember, there is no limit. There is also a financial alchemy. And that's why we practice the magic of the year. The wheel of life, the wheel of the year, is also 12 months of magic and manifestation. That's what it represents. And with many people, you know, a lot of people take the training, the year training, where they actually get to experience a full year of what has manifested, what type of growth they've experienced by creating what they want in life and believing in that. It's important for us to be aligned to the success and the money that we want and break that limitation. Look for the universal flow. The wheel of fortune is something we all have to attain. And that is bringing out something that we can do or love that will always bring us money. For me, I can do readings. I know that, you know, when I'm in Italy and I'm in my little truly and I'm 85, I can do readings in my olive grove. So you want to have that magical craft that you can do when you're older for yourself and others. But one simple thing that I use is money I need. Come to me with harm to none. It is done. That one sentence. Money I need. Come to me with harm to none. It is done. I mean, say that mantra, say that sentence every day. And you will hopefully experience your pressure going away. So abundance is known as a holistic expression of our self-value, our self-worth, and our self-love. And we see that when we look at people. You can tell who's confident and who isn't when you have a lineup of people standing in front of you. So we want to learn at tapping into this flow is being able to go into a place of freedom. That you are walking a path of freedom that requires trust in your own gifts, trust in what you love, and your connection to spirit. And your abundance is connected to all of those things. Your love, your gifts, and your spirit. So think about this. When we think, oh, I want to create $20,000 this month, we could say, but that will entail this amount of work. And that's 20,000. The goal is not there. The biggest part of understanding is, first off, how can we raise our vibration? How can we set the point so that we can create more energy efficiently? Our body is this timing scale. I know at 3 o'clock, I want a nap and I want chocolate. That is a sign for me that I need to connect to my frequency and my vibration. And I'm in a healing place until that disappears, until I get through a day and I don't hit that 3 o'clock. Oh my God, I need a chocolate. I'm still on my path. So it's important for us to raise our vibration and to call a raise in our vibration. Assist us now upon the earth plane. Like we call it in full moon because we want that. So with North and the earth, all things that become tangible represent the earth element. We can use the candles, we can use green, brown, and white, anything earthly. We can carve our candles. We can use rocks, trees, earth, soil, grass, leaves, even other people for magic. If it's mundane, we can use it. It's tangible. And a lot of things is, we talked about the bowl of coins, but the earth dragon activates what our purpose in life is for, because we all know what we want. So if we go past what we want now, we will align to that earth dragon. Now, the earth dragon actually enters our life every single day. And, you know, the thing is North and earth magic is traditionally nighttime magic. So we would perform it anytime after midnight. Midnight is like the magical time for the earth element, but it comes into our life. And when it takes a peek at us, it's from 7 to 9 a.m. So what are you doing from 7 to 9 a.m.? And when I realized that, I was like, oh my God. In the old days, I was like freaking out, trying to get ready, running around. Now I'm at the table waiting for my coffee and just like sitting there in a relaxed state. So from 7 to 9, pay attention to what you're doing, because that's what the dragon is coming in and checking you on. It's making sure that you're okay, and it's checking in. What did she need today? We have that guidance, 7 to 9. And if we're sleeping through it, that's awesome too. Because when we're asleep, our conscious mind is like somewhere else. So the only thing spirit can communicate when we're asleep is our spirit. And that's one of the reasons why magic from midnight, or actually from sunset to morning, is so powerful. Because we're working with our higher selves. So a lot of times we want something, right? We got to raise our vibration, look for the bliss. Where does the dragon want to drop off some cash or healing to me, right? He saw me at 6 to 9 a.m. But a lot of times when we want something so much, we separate ourselves from it. And it makes us and creates us a resistance. And then we carry that resistance in the present moment. And all of a sudden that thing isn't here now. That means we are actually creating from a place of lack. And by that, even if we get the money, by the time we get it, we've already conditioned ourselves not to be happy in the present moment. The universe never gives us what we want. It gives us what we are and what we desire. So remember, go past the need. You need a physical body. My body is not only going to be physically healed, but maybe my boobs will lift an inch. You know, you want to go past what you need. And that way you will avoid and get out of that place where you can create a resistance. So feel the motion. Let yourself create the freedom that whatever it is you need is done and put in the filing cabinet. And when you do that, the energy that we carry, because we carry a currency, which is why money is called currency, is we create the abundance in general. And we are walking that energy, and whatever matches that energy comes to us. That's why if we are passionate about something, you will manifest even more of it in life. There's secrets to those who dare to follow their heart. And when we're passionate, we're excited. So we're in an increased state of being. Anything that is increased above the norm, we can use magic in it. I see it as an opportunity. That now I'm in an invisible force because I'm excited. I'm not walking around all excited 24/7. So our relationship with Earth, or with our money, or with our body, will create a new mentality. But this idea behind it is to take out the general meaning that you give money and ask yourself, where is that energy coming from? Is it coming from lack, or is it coming from abundance? The earth element will help us focus. The earth element, just sitting outside with your feet flat on the ground, will create willpower. It will give you the momentum. Scientifically, it's proven that we go back into our natural state, and that all things that aren't natural will leave. It may come back up, but that's what needs to be healed. And so we can create the willpower, momentum, the opportunity of manifestation. And that's a game changer. And all you have to do is get rid of those things that stress you and know that those are the things you need to ask for. There's abundance in everything. There's earth element in everything. So if focus on the life that you want, hold that in your heart. Don't believe you're not going to have it. Get rid of those things. And a lot of times if we're experiencing lack in our life, that's letting us know we're in a place of healing. Earth, air, fire, water, there's always something in a place of healing. So let's get into a little bit of the earth bottles, because I wanted to do that too, but let me see, make sure I didn't forget anything. So just remember, everything begins to change when we change ourselves. Be gentle. Don't butcher it up. Oh yeah, I was a butcherer. And give everything you need more meaning. What will it happen when you receive your solution? Well, my stress will go away. I'll be in a place where I don't have to think about it again. There's the desire. You don't want to think about it again. So gratitude will always keep you humble. The second you receive something good, always say thank you mentally. because the dragons around you love recognition. And when you make aware of where you currently are, as far as your vibration, you will feel more supported in the things that you're doing. And money magic and earth element is a power that is outside of us. So it works like it's a tool, right? If we need a drill, we go and get it. Well, now we can call Grail and see how it works. You want a rich man? Grail. Bring me a sugar daddy. I mean, like, that's what, if I was single, that's what I would be doing. I would be looking for a single, sugar daddy, living in his own house, just wants to meet up, every couple of weeks, maybe. But what I'm saying is, what we want is what we are drawing attraction as far as money magic and earth element. I can't believe I said that. It is outside of us. It's a tool. It's also a byproduct of what we value. And what we value in life brings people into our life, right? Look at our spiritual community. Those that value spirituality want to connect and evolve more. And that is the byproduct, is what you create, the good that comes from it. So the things that you want to create in tangible form is also going to create the life that you value and that what you want to bring together. So the goal with earth magic is the emotion and the passion and how you prefer it to be. I don't like this. I want it to be this way, right? We do that when we look at ourselves and we look at our situations. So let the earth empower you. Let yourself take honest responsibility of what you want to hold in your life and let the earth help you. And just by the simple stuff that you've heard, even if it went in one and out the other, it's still connected to you. You've just heard all of this. So the awareness will start changing things for you. And then you can focus on what really matters, right? So I told you to have a piece of paper and a pen. So I want you to grab that piece of paper and a pen. And it doesn't have to be very big either. Let me get one here. And I want you to just draw a star. Any star. And yes, maybe some of you have done this before. But I want you to draw the star. Just a regular star. And I want you to take note. Oh, that's what was wrong. My keyboard, I put something on it and it was like going crazy. So now that you've drawn your star, I want you to take note on how you drew it. When you started drawing the star, did you start at the top? That's weird. Where did you start? What corner would you say you started at? Gotta find my sheet that I wanted. So the earth symbol for the earth is the triangle upside down with a line through it. And the line is usually just below the halfway point. Some people will draw the line halfway up. So it is an upside down triangle. The line goes through it, and then you'll see another little, it makes a little triangle. The earth element is also the sign of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And one way you can bond with the earth element is just by taking a nature walk, by gardening, by sitting. If you like to sit outside, just make sure both your feet are on the ground. Meditating, taking a time of silence, also will connect you to the elemental dragons around. when we use herbs and essential oils, the dragons come around. So that's one reason why we like to use the herbs and the oils. So I'm going to go over how you may have drawn your element, because the reason why I wanted you to do that is you're going to learn what natural element you're working with. So if you say you drew your triangle or your star, and you started at the top and went down the right side, okay, then that represents invoking fire. So some of you might be naturally invoking the fire element and not even knowing it. So let me see. Oh, I didn't even see you guys wrote it here. Okay, so left bottom. So when I have to imagine myself doing this, okay? So if you did the left bottom and you went up, or no, it would be that way then. The left bottom going up would be the earth element, banishing it. So who is that? Left bottom going up. Okay, so that's banishing earth. So right now, when you draw that, that shows that your natural force automatically knows how to banish and deal with problems that represent the earth. You're a manifester. Okay, so you're sending the earth element out. 2 people doing the bottom left. How interesting. Okay, and let me see, because I feel like, so if you wanted to call in the earth element, so say we're invoking Grail, we would start at the top point of the star and go down the left. Okay, so when you go to the top and you go down the left like this and draw it, I just invoked the earth element. And you can do that. I will invoke the earth element in my hand. So when I go, I can draw, say I do all kinds of stuff, but when I want to invoke the earth element, I can do it from my hand. This is my receiving hand. So those who felt the stone in their left hand are receiving earth power. So if your left hand was more powerful, you're in a place of receiving. So you want to call in the earth power. You want to manifest and call in the money and the help that you want. Now, if your right hand was more powerful, holding those stones, you're in a place of manifestation. And so whenever I find that stone is more powerful in my right hand, then I'm meant to do the money magic I seek and ask for exactly what I want, because I'm in a place where everything I'm focusing on is in play. By my intention, the right hand represents intention and the flow that you send out. And we can actually stand like this with our hand up. And if you say the word love 3 times with your hands up, one hand, your right hand, you will feel a power come out of it. Hold your hand flat. You can see that middle white part on my palm. That's our portal of power. So put your hand up and just say, love, love, love. Now, sometimes I feel weird saying that. So the one word that I like to use for love is Shema. Shema is a very magical word for love. So I'll say Shema, Shema, Shema. And feel the center of your palm and move your hand around. And you'll still feel the power in the center of your palm. Can you feel that? I got chills everywhere. So I can walk into a room and I can make that room exactly how I want it to feel. whether it's positive or negative, I can heighten it. Okay. And it's awesome if you felt that. I have goosebumps everywhere. So with that power, if you do Shima, or you call, say, money, or grail, usually instead of saying money, I say grail. And if you say that and you feel that, you're in a place of power and magic right now. Tell the universe what you want. I want to be richer than I've ever had, body, mind, and spirit, like really rich, right? You can send that out. And so that just shows you how powerful our right hand is. It's a natural force that releases. The chi map of the human body shows in this hand, out this hand. So if you need more energy from the universe, and a lot of times when I do readings for people and I'm like, I know I need to get into that place, because sometimes I'll do a reading for someone and it's like a total grieving. And then other times I go into, you don't know what you're going to get sometimes. So a lot of times, if I know I need to connect with a flow and heighten my energy, I'll hold a crystal in my hand. I hold a crystal, so just a regular little tumbled or point. I hold that in my left hand. And I know that I'm protected. The energy is pure. The quartz is connecting me to my crown chakra. And that my channel is open and I don't have to worry about any attachments. Now, usually I'm pretty good about, in and out. But, sometimes you feel something after you do readings, right? There's spirit involved sometimes and emotion. So if you put a crystal in your hand, you will always get purified and heightened. And quartz crystal will also imprint anything that we want. And that's why you see people with the crystal balls, because it's not just for scrying. It creates a spirit. My crystal ball that I've had like forever, since I blew a whole rental monthly. I had to pay rent for my place and I saw this crystal ball and I was like 21. And I was like, I have to have it. And I bought it and rent was due in 3 days. And I was totally freaking out. I was like, ooh, what a bad girl was I. But I got an opportunity to do a psychic show for this restaurant. It was like this big drag queen show and I got my money and I knew I was supposed to have that crystal ball and I still have it today. And it creates spirit. The left hand is the one that gives you the medicine. So whatever we touch with our left hand, you will feel its natural source. So if I touch a person with my left hand, well, see, look how red my hand went just from holding the crystal. So if you hold a person's head, you will feel what they are feeling. So left hand, you will always feel the natural state of something. The right hand sets out our intentions. Okay, so when we receive the energy, that energy goes in and then we filter it and it becomes what we interpret it to be, and then it's sent out. Or we put our intentions into it. And I'll put, let me make a note because I'm really I really don't remember things nowadays. I put a note, I'll do a right left hand sheet for you. So you have that and you can look at it. So if we need more energy, you hold things in your left hand. Okay. And if you want to send out the energy, we put it in. Now, crystals are important because they keep hold of everything. So anything that I say in my magic room goes into my crystal ball. Any spirit that I've connected to, their energy is in that crystal ball. So my crystal ball knows all. It's like my flow, it's like my eye of everything I've done. So just a small piece will do the exact same thing. And quartz watches that people wear, they say quartz on it. It's because they have a tiny piece of quartz crystal that they've zapped it with the I can't even think of the word, circuitry, and that quartz piece in that watch keeps it going. And all they did was zapped it. So these are an amplifier, and that's why they're used to direct certain energies. I can hold this crystal like this, and I can do and create what I want with it. Okay, so that is also with any other stone, even the earth stone. This will ground you, or you can put grounding energy into it and tell the stone what you want. And if you feel anything in your right hand, then the stone says, okay, I'll take that energy for you, and you can give it to someone else. And that's why crystals and gemstones are such a great gift for people, because they're full of intention. They don't hold negative intentions. Not one stone will hold a negative intention. Writing with it would be amazing. You can definitely get into a channel. A lot of times I'll blindfold myself. I have those sleeping masks, and I do my writing that way. I'll hold a stone, I have my sleeping mask on, and then I start asking questions and just listen to what I have coming. It's awesome to receive guidance. So for the pentagrams, every once in a while, draw a star and see where you're drawing from, because we can invoke the earth element by starting at the top and going down like this. Or we can banish it. So banishing is like doing the circle counterclockwise. It removes energy. So when I receive a bill, I can do the banishing earth element star on that bill with my hand or with a crystal, and then call for the magic. I release this. There is no way I'm going to be late on this. Grail, help. And see what happens. Okay? So you are naturally either in an invoking power or a releasing power, a natural banishing power. And it's neat to know what your element is. And with all of us, all of you, we're all in the earth element without even knowing it. All three of you drew your star connected to the earth element, which means your life right now is about the tangible things, the health, the physical body, the finances, the home. And so that's what you want to be focusing on. Maybe next month when you draw the star, it comes out another way. All of a sudden, you know, okay, I need to practice air magic. It's all about my future. So you want to take note once in a while, draw a star, just, you know, do it in the air when you're camping or looking at the sky and see how it comes out, and then look it up. So let's go into, so Earth represents our health, our vitality. It also represents the cold. So if you're walking around one day and you're chilled and you can't get rid of that coldness, that's the dragon around you. A lot of times when we do spirit work, or if we're doing readings, that cold energy will be a female spirit. But if you wake up and 7 to 9 pass and you got the chills, Grail's around you. He feels like he needs to help you. Give him the direction, the things that he needs. Let him go find the treasure you seek. Okay. So I want to get to our bottle. So first, let's do, we're going to make a bottle. Some of you will be doing this with me and some of you will be doing later. So you need any type of glass bottle. Okay. And you can even use tiny ones like this. Okay, a lot of people like to make little ones. You can even use Christmas ornaments, those glass ones, and make witch bottles. But witch bottles are super important. And I love them. Okay. Everybody's seen Ghostbusters, I hope. You know how they got that machine and they slide it on the floor and it opens up and it sucks all the spirit that's in there? That's what these babies do. So with earth magic, one thing that is always important is to do a witch bottle. And I'm going to show you a couple of mine. So this is last year. I like to do witch bottles once a year. And I like to make sure I have a witch bottle at every door. And so I made this bottle. This one is an olive oil jar, and it's full of stuff. And we're going to do that, but I'm going to explain it. These keep negative spirits out. When we use this, yes, if you're banishing earth, you are releasing. So that means you're in a place to release anything that you no longer want to deal with. That has all those tangible earthly things. So when we have these, it protects us. We want to keep them by our door. So behind it or close to it. Some people keep it outside of the house or inside. Most people don't normally notice it. But we're going to make one of these. And these are a spirit trap, just like Ghostbusters. And once we make them, nothing negative can enter your house unless it counts every single thing in here, including each piece of soil. Now, what's magical about it is that if you look at mine, well, this one doesn't really show. Let me see. But mine is empty now to about here. So when we have these by our house or by our door, nothing negative can enter. Look at this one is halfway done. That's how much negative spirit tried to come in. So the soil disappears in the jar as it's sitting by. So when I look at my last year and I see that this bottle has that much dirt missing from it, then I know for a fact that negative things were trying to come in. And I have people coming in, I have spirit coming, right? But they get trapped. They cannot enter. It goes into this bottle. Look how empty that is. That's nuts. And I look at that and I'm like, holy cow, did I ever have a lot of evil eyes on me in the last year? So now what I'll do is this I will traditionally give as an offering. And I need to make a new one, right? I could keep it, but this is making it a little easier for spirit to count all the soil in here. So this one I had at my front door, where a lot of strangers come in and stuff too. And look at that. Shows you what a lot of people carry, including ourselves. If we're out in St. John or out and about and we come home and there's something negative on us, it can't come in if this is there. So this one is like that empty. Pretty big jar too. So the witch bottles are super traditional. Here's one that is good. This is on my bedroom door, so that makes me feel better. Nothing's coming in my bedroom door. And this is a year old. Nothing is gone. So protection bottles are really magical and they're amazing. So let's do that. We're going to start on that. And while we do it, I'm going to teach you about all of these things that I use in magic as well. So what you want to do is with the bottle, we want to fill this up with the soil. And before we fill it up with the soil, we want to charge it. So this could get messy. If you don't want to do it now, you don't have to. I know that I got to put my bottle in this so I don't make a big mess on my counter. You can use any type of soil. So I usually use potting soil or soil that I find outside. This one is potting soil because our ground is still too wet for me to do this. And you always want to connect to the soil and charge it. So you want to make sure. Okay, awesome. So you want to make sure you connect to the soil and you feel its energy. And you don't have to do all of the energy. Okay, like or all of the soil. You just want to hold it until you feel a vibration. So maybe we'll make these later, but let's grab all of the ingredients and charge them. So put the soil in your left hand just a little bit. See how I've got some? And hold it. And you should be able to feel your soil right away. It might feel cold. Maybe it feels like something's moving in it. So you want to connect. When I feel the soil right now and feel it, I can feel like the nutrients of it is going up my arms. I actually got a little shiver all the way to my right shoulder. And as I'm feeling that coldness in it, I'm also starting to feel a frequency, an earth vibration. Maybe a little tickle. Kind of sometimes feels like ticklish. So if you feel that, Earth wants to protect you right now. So whenever you deal with herbs, a stone, anything you're going to use for magic, always hold it in your left hand. If you feel anything, then you know that will work. So once you have the earth magic, and now we're going to say, North, the earth, the wind, the rain, assist me now upon the earth plane. And then we're going to say Grail 3 times. Grail, Grail, Grail. And sometimes it can be intimidating at first because you don't know really what to expect. But if you feel it's good, don't take it in as a fear. And then see if you feel how the earth has changed in your hand. And once you feel that, we can now fill the bottle with the earth. So I usually fill my bottle up about halfway at that point. The other thing is one of the reasons why we like to use the earth is so that the dragon is keeping our place protected and safe. So you want to fill that up. And sometimes it's hard to fill it up. It's like it can get stuck in there. The other thing I said to have either nails or needles. Sewing needles are cool to use. Or you can use nails, or a rusted nail is always good. A lot of people will pour vinegar on it to make it rusty, or the nails don't have to be rusty. But we use these nails because it deflects bad luck. And it also keeps bad fortune away. Now, traditionally, they would use coffin nails. But we can use any nails or sewing needles we want. And I like to make sure I have 1 nail for each person that lives in my household. So this nail is going to be me, and this nail is going to be my hubby. My son doesn't live with me, but oh my God, I need to make sure that he is protected as well. So I'm going to put 1 in for him. So I'll hold these nails now in my right hand. Okay, and I tell the nails, first hold it in your left hand, and just kind of take note on how it feels. But I really, once I have it, put it in my right hand, and now I'm going to focus on my husband and my son and myself, and I'm going to tell these nails that we are all protected from bad luck, and any ill fortune will go away. So no bad luck is here to stay. And I'm going to pop those 3 once you feel them and think about them. I like to picture each one, see what memory comes up when I think of my people. Christmas dinner, meals, whatever. And once you charge them, put them in your bottle. And if your nails have a little warmth to them, very good. Put them in there. Warmth, when things heat up, that represents the masculine side. So we received help from an ancestor or a male spirit. So you put your nails in there. Now, I told you to have a little bit of water, or you can use urine. Don't tell me if you did and don't show it to me. And some people will also use menstruation blood. That is common in witch bottles. Or you can use wine. I like to use wine because it represents it represents blood in the magical world. So if you ever see an ingredient where blood is needed, you can use wine. Or if you don't have any of those things, traditionally, you can spit in it. So any of those are fine. Now, before we do that, of course, you want to hold to the water. So if you have water with you, now we're not going to use a lot. Imagine if you had like a big gooey and spit it out, okay? You don't need much. So just like a spitful, say. And we don't want to draw any mold. So even though your water is in there, in a container, hold it. And just putting the cup on my right palm, it's almost like there's a suction cup. The palm just wants to like get to that water in through the glass. So focus on the water and feel it for a few minutes. And we use this to represent ourselves. So it's our blood. It's our fluid. It's who we are. And some people can even they'll swish some water and then spit it in as well. And once you feel anything, that water in your hand, put it in your right hand and feel it. And you want to think about how you want to feel. Like, to me, my perfect life is just feeling free. Things are simple. It's easy to just go sit outside. I don't have a million things to do. I look at my account and I smile. Whatever it is you put into that water, your dreams come true. And you can even put in how you'd like that to receive it. You know, how do you want the money to come? Some people want opportunity in their career. Some want a new business. Some want a jackpot. And then once you have it charged, you're going to pour a little bit of that water in. And you can pour it in anytime. I just like to make sure that I have enough earth that it's not going to go right on the bottom and sit there. So I like to make sure I have the earth in it. And I've actually made bottles when my son was younger and living at home. I actually would get him to make this with me because I used to like teaching him magical stuff. And you can have everyone in your family spit into it if you want. You like spit into this bottle. So you want to fill that up, pour a little bit of your water into it. And any leftover materials you can use into a plant or give it as an offering. The other thing we're going to use is the salt. So salt is very magical, and I want to get into that. So we use salt as something that represents the element of earth. And there was actually a time in my life where I needed to make some money, and I was worried about my life and my security. I didn't know what to do. I was like distraught for days. And finally, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do some magic and really ask for help. I need to believe in this. And when I did that, I always lived by the ocean. I was in BC most of my life. But when I did that, Poseidon came to me. I believed him to be Poseidon. I saw the image. It was daylight. I wasn't stoned. This was a real experience. And he came to me, and all I could see was a vision of him. And I heard him tell me how to make salt. And so whenever I make salt, and many of you know I had the Olivier store, it was all skincare, bath salts, all of that. I've always made my own salt. And I actually have a salt business and on the side. And a lot of people don't know about that, but my husband and I have a full salt business, gourmet salt for cooking and everything. So salt is super powerful. And when I learned how to make salt from the ocean water, it changed my life. And I believe in salt baths. Like, it is my big magical thing. So sea salt is known to have the power of the goddess in it. The goddess of Hecate. We use sea salt to represent the triple goddess. She is known to be, the ocean waters are known to carry her spirit and her consciousness. And so when we use sea salt, we can make holy water out of it. We can also return things to the sender. If someone sent you bad energy or they're attacking you, we can use salt in our magic, put it in our cauldron, put it in our smudge, put it in our bath, however we want to use it, and it will return whatever we're carrying back to the sender. We also use it to reflect bad energy. So any negative energy cannot come forward. And we also use it as a substitute for mirror magic. So salt is very powerful. But when the water becomes salt, that is also a symbol of something that can become solid. So salt, sea salts and salts have always represented the earth magic. When we put table salt on our food, regular table salt, it's actually cleansing our food, and it removes blocks. It's actually excellent for all cleansing and healing work. It blocks negativity, and it keeps dark spirits away. And what I love is sea salt. I'm just holding a little shell to show you. The crystals of the sea salt are very magical. The structure of it is very magical and beautiful. And what you can do is you can make your own sea salt. The only time to make the salt is when you hear the fizz in the ocean water. You ever go to the beach on a hot day and listen to the waves, and all of a sudden as it hits the ground, you just hear a sizzle? That's how you know salt is in it. You can only make salt during high tides. Salt will not be produced during low tide. So high tides and the further out, the better the salt. But if you go to the beach and you hear that sizzle, grab some water and make some salt. So I want you to try to do that. If you grab some water, you're going to need a pot that you can boil the water in. And oh my gosh, if you do it once, you'll be okay. But if you're making salt and you decide that you want to make a whole bunch, you may rust a pot. So it could get rusted. The other thing is, the bottom of your pot will create calcium. And so if you're doing this once, you won't have this problem. But if you're making more salt, you're going to get a thick bone at the bottom of your pot because calcium is in the water and it materializes and creates like a bone. There's a name for it. I can't think of it, but it's very white and you can't get it off the pot. What I like to do is I like to get the water boiling. And once you evaporate all the water, on top of that layer of calcium is where all of the sea salt will start to build. So when I put ocean water into a pot and I bring that to a boil and I let it steam off and evaporate, at a certain point, when you get to about 2 inches from the pot, the end of the water, you'll start seeing all of the sea salt floating on top. And you can collect that sea salt with a scoop, and then I put it in a glass casserole plate. So the sea salt starts to build and it starts to melt, or not to melt, to float. And when it floats, that's when I collect it, put it in there. And then once I've made all of my sea salt and put it in the glass container, the amount I want, I will bake it. And once it's baked in the oven, all the water is gone, it'll just scrape out beautiful crystals like this. And what I love is that when you start making that, you put the little bit of salt, the salt water starts to create salt. You always want to save a little bit. So I always save a shell amount, like you see. And I know that wherever I go in the world, I can make salt out of this one shell. So even though I've made the salt, if I keep adding ocean water to the pot when it's boiling and it keeps boiling down, I'll just keep creating salt. But say I'm in the prairies and I'm like, oh my God, I have no sea salt and it's a pandemic and everyone's sold out and I need to do magic and make holy water. I love holy waters. I collect them from around the world. I can take this little bit of salt. Okay, so it's just a little seashell amount or a shooter glass amount even. No, that'd probably be 2 shooters you probably need. You put it in a pot of water, I can make sea salt just from this, up to a full kilogram. But I would let this sit in the water and evaporate a little bit. And then once I know I see the change in color, the water becomes just a little bit murky, then I know I can start boiling. So I mix it up clockwise and then I'll boil. And from one little pouch of sea salt, I can make sea salt for the rest of my life. And it's awesome to bathe in this, to cook with it. Now, if you're going to eat it, you need to filter the water, right? So if you just take it, you'll have raw salt, which is fine. But if you look under a microscope, you might see like tiny little pieces of shell in there. Most of the things will fall, but if your salt comes out like just white like this, it's good. The Bay of Fundy will produce a pink. If you get a little bit of the pink, then that represents a very magical salt. And pink salt, even Himalayan salt, represents a major protection. It removes love curses. So if you collect ocean water and all of a sudden your sea salt comes out a little bit pink, then the universe and the goddess wants you to do healing work that has to do with love. So pink salt removes love curses, blocks. Many people have trauma. We all have trauma from relationships. So pink salts heal that, help heal that. We can use it in breakup spells, but we can also use it to protect our relationship. Pink salt is actually the one magical salt that we use to break gossip and to get rid of home wreckers. I mean, and it's powerful. So it's known as that. And if your salt goes really red, now in the summer, you're going to get the whitest salt. But as the cycle changes and we get to closer to the winter solstice, the salt becomes pink and sometimes can even become red. It depends on how much I can't say it. I could say it earlier. It depends on the stuff in the water. Sanctin, I can't remember how to say it. But people take it as a medication. But if the salt ever goes red, then that means that you are called to do heavy protection around you. And it actually means that there is a dark energy or spirits. A lot of times it represents psychic vampires, like any type of spirit that would suck your energy needs to be banished. So I like to make a little bit of salt during each season. I'll collect, like I live right here, so I always have salt. But for those that don't live by the ocean, try to visit it once every season, make a batch of salt, check out the color, because if it's really red, then that means that you have a banishing spirit salt, and you can use that. It will defend any area, or it will sweep any area from anything that is a negative spirit, any ghosts. So it's really good for home protection. And the red salt is also used to protect the house from fire. And many people have heard of putting salt in the four corners of the house or the property. Well, that is the same thing. So salt is very magical. So it's used for purification. So put some salt. If you have sea salt, table salt, it doesn't matter. Put it into your hand, feel it. Oh, my salt is heavy. And you'll notice the salt is heavier and lighter at different times. And feel that salt. Salt is also so neutralizing. And that's why I like to use it. So connect to the salt, and you don't need much. I usually just, whatever fits in my hand for my bottle, I'll put in. And once you take note of the salt in your left, and you can feel its energy. You may notice some ingredients are more powerful than others. Put it in your right hand. You can tell the salt what you want purified. Maybe it's things for you, things that your family needs. What do they need purified? All those energies you notice in and out of your home. To me, the salt is more powerful on the right. So I really have to put stuff into it. Purify and protect us from COVID. Protect us from the past. No negative past should enter. And then put that into your bottle. And then once we have those in, you want to fill it back up with the earth all the way to the top. And while you do that, I am going to keep talking. So while you're creating that bottle, any negativity will go straight into it. You can keep it out in the open. You can put it underneath your doorstep. Some people put it in the chimney. I've had people put it in walls. You can put it behind the door. And some people will even bury it. So any of those can be used however you feel, but you want it so that it will, you want it so that you know that it's there. And the less people seeing it, the better. I notice, like, I keep mine right out my doors. Most people don't notice it, and when they do, they don't really ask me. They usually think, of course, it is something. But that bottle has the purifying power now of the earth and of the water. We're going to blow into it 3 times once you reach almost the top. And then we're going to seal it. And you'll want to find, for the top of your bottle, a coin. So if you can find a coin that'll fit nice on top of it, like that, we're going to seal it with the wax. So fill up your bottle. So that has the elemental power of the earth, air, fire, and water. It is got a purifying power of the water, our breath of air, and the passionate heat of fire. It also has the grounding spirit of earth. May the goddess bless this, our home and hearth. And once we do the candle, we're going to do the dragon connection. So when sea salt is made, it actually creates a cube. And that cube represents the unfolded faces of the elements. In the old days, it was known as the power of a cross because of the way it looks. And if you look at the cube of it, it is known as the goddess star. You'll see the point, if you have it so that the point, one of the points facing up, you'll be able to see, and that's known as the goddess star. So if ever you see a spell and it asks for the goddess star, you know it's a grain of salt. The 4 corners of the salt represent the universe and its potential. It also represents chaotic matter, and it requires spirit to activate it. So all salt has to have an activation. The cube is a pillar, and it represents the number 4, which is manifested in the universe. So we can give salt as an offering, the salt that we make or the salt that we charge, we can use that just as an offering to the god and the goddess. In the old days, thousands of years ago, salt was money. It was used as a currency. Soldiers were paid with salt. That's their life. They got salt. Any unwanted spirits will not be allowed to enter. And you won't have to worry about anything being sent to you. Your home will become a total solarium. Only light and love is allowed. So once you make your bottle, you do want to look at it often and to see if any soil is broken. Now, some people say you should never open these, but if they fall over and break and they're open, you're meant to make a new one. Oh yes, the herb. Oh my gosh, let's put that in. Duh. I love it. Rosemary is one of the most powerful herbs to get rid of negativity. Let's see. So rosemary is known as protection. So we're going to put a little bit of our herbs into our palm and charge it. I like to put it in the palm. A lot of people will hold it over the bowl and you will get the energy of it. But when I actually have contact and feel it, then I know for a fact that it's working for me, and it just breaks my doubts. So rosemary is known as a protection herb, and it's also used to cleanse negativity and also negative spirits. And so some people don't like the smell of sage. Rosemary is one that people don't seem to mind. So sometimes I'll use rosemary when I'm doing healings, because you just don't know what people are going to be offended. Like some smells are offensive. Rosemary is always one that is safe. I've never had someone walk in and say, oh my God, I hate that smell. So rosemary is one that is very good for cleansing negative energy, but also negative spirits. And when we cook with it, I always pay attention to how who I'm cooking for reacts, not really reacts, but how they are while they're eating and after, because you'll find that, you know, they go into a more natural place, or they seem to be more positive. Or if my husband, he carries a lot from his work, if I know he's got too much or he's dreaming of work, I'll put rosemary in his food, and I know it just clears his mind and he can break free from those constraints. It also helps us break certain mindsets. So sometimes we get into a mindset and it's like, I don't know how to get out of it. We can cook with rosemary. We can even make a tea. A lot of times I'll just pour rosemary in a pot of water and boil it and just like the house with it. I love doing the pot of water boiling thing. It's something I do every day. So hold your rosemary and then put it in your right hand. And with the rosemary, you do want to focus on the things you want to break. So any fears that are getting into your way, anything that's in your mindset, any limiting beliefs I break that do not belong to me, any limiting beliefs and feelings I have about my money, my body, my currency, my vibration, and my connection to the earth spirit is broken, and only positive. So I focus on it. Make sure you feel something with it. I put it in my hand. I don't know if you can see it, but look, it almost looks like there's horns on it. Yep, there was something that was limiting there. So I'm going to put that into my bottle. And hopefully you still have enough room to add some more earth to it. Thank you for reminding me on that. And someone, Basil, I love, or Basil, however you say it. But basil is an awesome protection herb as well. And we use it to keep evil and negative spirits out. So we can use it for that. It's also something that we use to draw money and finances. And I actually like to make a basil water. So I will use distilled water. I don't use spring water for it because it will mold, but I'll use distilled water, and then I'll put basil into it and make a tea, and then I'll bottle that up, and I'll spray my door handles or my car handles. I'll even spray my wallet, give a light spray on some of my money, and then it works really well. So basil is a great one for money drawing. Some people will even spray themselves, you know, before they move in. Or you can make basil and olive oil. If you have it sitting for a full moon cycle together, you can use that as a little perfume, even though you're not going to get a smell. You can add stuff to it if you want to smell, but unscented, just to have that magical oil. You can wear it to attract wealth. You can also use it to anoint candles. Same with rosemary. You can use rosemary and olive oil, let it sit for a full cycle, use that magically to remove negative energy, and you can anoint your candles. And whenever you have something that you need to get rid of or you need help with, we can light up our candle with it. So it's pretty cool. So let's go to, got it filled up, I hope. So we're gonna go to putting that coin on it. So find a coin that fits on the top once it's full. It's okay if it hangs a little over. Coin magic is super important. Let me see. I'm gonna find my little chant. And we're going to put that coin in the left hand and do a chant to call in the money as well. So put the coin in your left hand. Let me see where my... Okay, ready? So left hand, we're going to say it, and then we're going to pay attention to it on the right hand. So we want to say it in the right hand because we're not putting our intention to it. We're putting in a spell. So it's kind of different. We're activating this coin to become a magnet. And I want to first connect with it in the right hand because I want the spell that we seek to filter through the coin that we're receiving. So it's like the receiving energy and what we're speaking going in. And then we'll put it into our left hand or right hand. So it's in your left hand. And we're going to say this: I am open to financial success. My ability to earn, hold, and grow money expands every day. I am a money magnet. I have a prosperous mind. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. And just focus on how that coin feels right now. And I totally feel a change. Like it almost feels like it's a magnet. It's heavy and I can feel the energy going right through my hand. So now that you have done that, and if you feel anything, put the coin into your right hand. Did the coin heat up or go cold? So if it heated up, that means it's activated and ready to go. And I always wait until I feel a little bit. You got heat, perfect. If it doesn't heat up, then I would do that again and just get that energy into it. So we're going to put it in the right hand. Now we're going to say, I deserve to have and hold wealth. When I am wealthy, my true friends will like me just as I am today. The more I have, the more the planet and humanity can benefit. I deserve my richness because I add value to other people's lives. I am a generous receiver and an excellent giver. I believe money is important. It creates freedom and it makes life more enjoyable. I admire success. And then focus on how it feels. Again, it should feel like heavy. I almost feel like my hand wants to sweat. Some sweaty palm, but it's not. And you just want to know that you put that into the coin. And this is made of metal. So it's an automatic conductor. And sometimes I will even do another coin. You can do this and you can drip wax on it on both sides until it's covered and carry it as a talisman. And it said, as the wax breaks off, the money comes. So it's kind of neat. So now that you have that, you want to put it on the top of your bottle when your bottle is full. Okay? And you want to make sure that this coin is actually touching some soil once it's full. Okay? Now we want to do the candle. So when we do our candle, you can use any candle. I've used black. If you have black candles, that works good. But I'm traditional. I like the beeswax or the white. This is the way the white candle looks. You can see it's all dropped on there. And the coins in there. And even look, this one, I don't know if you can see it, but this even dropped down. The coin. There's an actual rim in here. So your bottles are like kind of that ghost catcher, right? So we're going to hold our candle, put your candle in your hand, and we're going to call Grail to us. So hold the candle, and with the candle, I'm holding it with both my hands now. And repeat after me. Grail, Grail, Grail. Dragon brave and dragon wise. One of nothing escapes your eyes. I summon you from your hidden lair. Permit no harm to come to me within your sight. In your presence, all evils take flight. No baneful creature born of flesh or spirit may touch me or my family, nor come near it. Let those energies and people that bring harm be filled with the magic of none. And then we're going to just say this little one I like to say about with the goddess Fortuna. At this moment, there is no yesterday. At this moment, there is no tomorrow. At this moment, there is only today. Spirits of abundance, come to me, come to our aid. We have clothes on our back, food to eat, and a place to stay. Spirits of abundance, come to me. Come to me. I am perfectly okay. I am one with the universe, and the universe will provide for me in every way. Spirits of abundance, I am perfectly okay. This is true. As I say, the universe will provide for me in every way. And then, so mote it be. So now let's light up our candles. Wow, my desk is such a mess. I know I had a lighter. I lit the smudge. We want to light up our candles and see, oh, there it is. And watch the flame. And then we're going to drip this over our candles and seal it. And it's okay if it looks like all waxy and cool. So I'm going to light it up. And I always take note if there was any flickering, then something is being broken. And it went straight up pretty quick. So I know my path is good and clear. Oh, and as I say that, look what happens. So I always wait until my candle is nice and strong. And if you see an aura around the candle, then you know there's magic around it. Magic is there, don't doubt it. Even if you didn't say anything to your candle, if you light it and it lights up, there's magic there. And then you just drip it and seal the bottle. So you have the coin on it, and then you light it up and seal it. Now, some people say that if your bottle is empty like mine, you can open it up and bury it, all the stuff inside, and then reuse it. Some people say you should never reuse it. You just bury it and then remake a new one. I have special bottles. I love these bottles. I like to reuse it. I just give the inside, everything inside as an offering. Now, if I do it and it won't come out, I have to start jamming like a coat hanger or something in it to empty it, I won't. Then I know, okay, I'm meant to bury all of the stuff in it. Remember, it traps negative energies and spirits. And that's why the soil disappears. And beeswax is super magical. I love it. I actually have a little bee thing going on in my backyard. So that's something that I want to get into when I'm a little older, is have a bee farm. Something my husband and I like. And it's because I use so much of it. And I actually have this giant candle. It's like 3 feet high that I received. I used to get my beeswax candles from the monks. I lived by a monastery, and the monks, I sold their candles. They're I love these. They're very magical. I'll have to show you one of the candles. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and post it. But they hand drip their candles. And this one they made me is super huge. And they drip from both sides, upside down, and they turn it. So when you see the candle, you have things going up, but you have things going down. And these candles are in every room in the monastery. And when they light it, they use them for divination. So whatever forms on the wax is what they receive guidance from. Yeah, it's crazy that this religious monastery does this, right? So they actually brought me this candle and gifted it to me. And it was they told me to light it and to use it for what I see. And once in a while, I worked with them because they don't like working with certain energies and stuff. So sometimes they would say, light the candle and tell me what you see. But the beeswax is used for divination. So when the candle drips, we can receive messages of it. And beeswax is a natural purifier. It's very magical in the spirit world. And it serves us in a number of ways. We will use beeswax and turn them into candles. We can use them and make talismans. We can seal our bottles. A lot of people will seal their magical writing. We'll make some ointments out of it and body products. So I know that some of you are in the Mystic class, so you get to experience some of the things that we're going to be making with it. But when it comes to the magic of it, it has a neutralizing effect. And it always smells incredible. But it's also something that is used because it's known to not exist unless there's like a queen bee, right? So it's really neat. So we use them to purify. It turns negative ions into positive ions. A lot of times if I'm smoking certain herbs, like I have them going in my cauldron, and if things get too smoky, I'll light a candle. So it will break that up. Or if I'm smudging, sometimes I'll go into people's houses, and if the smudge is like crazy and burning the eyes, I'll light a beeswax candle, and the beeswax will eat away at that smoke and purify it. And it's just amazing that way. It's also known as an amplifier. And a lot of people have used them. They'll make like figures or puppets or even like little dolls and use that for healing and protection from any type of negative magic. So it is quite important. Let me see what else I can think of it. They also represent warrior spirits. Bees in the magical world are known to be warrior spirits of the earth. They travel in armies. They're willing to die to protect the rest of their bees. But bees have always been sacred to the mother goddess and the earth mother. And so when we make products or we use beeswax, it's known as food of the gods. So we can use that light of the candle as an offering. And the spirits are known to use that. It can help charge spirits. Say I feel like I'm not connecting to my grandpa. I use my grandpa a lot for guidance. And if I feel like my connection is weak, or maybe his energy is weak or my energy is weak, I like to light a beeswax for it. And it helps energize the spirits that are around me. But we usually use the candles and the beeswax to represent the goddess that we're using. And when we use beeswax in magic, it's known to sometimes invoke the power of different goddesses. So there's like Sybil, Aphrodite, there's Demeter, Artemis, but these energies, these feminine energies that come from beeswax, were known as honey nymphs. Honey nymphs. And I think I have this awesome encyclopedia that's like super old of all of the nature spirits, but I'm going to try to find a picture of a honey nymph so that you can see it. It's amazing. They also represent the energy of building our foundation, but cooperation. So beeswax is very magical when we're working magic, and maybe we're focusing on stuff, but we have someone in our household or community that isn't. Like we need to kind of get them up. They're not doing what they should be. I'm doing more work. I'll light a beeswax candle to even that out. So it has benefits that way to get people going into the energy that they need to be more productive. So it's good for people that feel lethargic or lazy. It will help contribute to the energy that they need. They are also known as, because they create their beeswax in honeycomb shape, traditionally it is represented as a six-sided cell. So honeycomb, the shape of it represents mirrors. They represent the mirrors and are known as the seed of life in sacred geometry. So it's really cool. I love beeswax, but it does have that neutralizing effect. It puts everything back into the place of nature. And yeah, that's one reason why I like it. Okay, so let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anything. We did the bottle. You did that. I went over. Oh my gosh. And I feel like I'm going to put that together. There was a sheet. So let's just pull a card and finish this up. And I think I'll do an earth element that's trying the star thing. I'm going to post a page on that so that even though you did the earth magic class, you can learn and connect to the other invoking the energy. So whenever we invoke, we're calling that energy to come and help. And whenever we banish, we are releasing energy. So banishing isn't always just releasing negative things, but sometimes we have too much energy. And if we have too much energy, we have to release some of it, right? So banishing can also help with evening energies out. So earth is our body. There was one thing I wanted to talk about with the earth. Buffalo is also traditional for the earth. Let me just make sure I didn't forget what I was just thinking of, because it's also important. So a lot of people are nighttime people. They like to be up at night. That would also represent the power and connection to the earth element. So some people are like, I can't sleep, I have problems sleeping. Well, maybe that's the time where your magic is happening. So it's good that way. Let me go on to my desktop and see if I have what I was looking for before I go. I'm so sorry. So also in the North element, remember it was midnight, it represents winter. It also represents our wisdom and our integration of that wisdom. So if we receive guidance and we don't know what to do about it, the earth element wants to help us. The other thing is the earth element also helps us when we're dealing with our shadow or the shadow of others. So if all of a sudden something is arising and it's like the instincts are in play and we're dealing with stuff, earth element is that. Remember that the earth element represents the path of finding wisdom to receive what you want. So there is always that challenging effect because we're dealing with life in our present. We need more energy and we need guidance onto how things come about. Okay, and right now, because we're heading into Beltane on May 1st, the earth element is helping us open the way to what we want to walk. So by the time May 1st comes, our path is now opened and our path will become the path of strength. So it's pretty interesting on how that cycle of life influences us. The other thing is the energy of the north is our inner warrior. So whenever we're doing earth magic, our inner warrior will come out to help connect to those outside things that we're talking about. And when we work with the north element, we also attract ascended masters. So some people get into connecting with ascended masters. They want to master their mind. Maybe they're into connecting with, that inner growth. The north energy happens with that. So the north energy influences actual energy, which I love. That to me is a big thing. North always means movement. It's like, do it in the now. Here's the wisdom to learn how. And let me see. In the medicine wheel of the transformation, so this is more of my native side, but we believe that the one of the symbols of the north is the buffalo, but it's also the hummingbird. So when hummingbirds come around, it's a sign that an ancient one is present. And a lot of times that means that there's invisible power, but there's a mastery that's taking place. And this mastery has to do with your time. It also has to do with letting go of old agreements. So your higher self is like trying to break you free from something limiting. The north element also represents the spirit, the intuition, and the meditation. So we go in from soul retrieval, things that want to come out and connect to the things that are around us, into the seeker. So our mind begins to live a little differently because it's released ego-driven thinking and it's reaching for our true self, the true seeker of who we are. So whenever a hummingbird comes around, know that there is an ancient one helping you. And that's when I'll be like, bring me what I need. Traditionally, the medicine of the earth represents the sweet dreams, but it also represents, I'm trying to think, I'm listening to my dad right now on what white is a sweet grass. So sweetgrass is traditional to burn as a medicine here in North America, and it's also known to help our mentality. So think about that. Oh, that's awesome. You are a night owl. I was too, big time. I actually still am. But I liked doing my work at night. It was like my own sacred space. I knew everyone was sleeping. And that's when we actually do connect to our true spirit. So the mind works differently at night, and that's probably why you are a night owl. So with that, let's pull a card for the class, and as soon as this is finished, I'll upload it, and I would love to see finished pictures of your bottles. And I would love to hear if any of your, when and if any of your soil goes down. I know one girl wrote me on the class tag saying that her bottle looks exactly from when she made it. And I'm looking at mine like, whoa, this trade. But when I see my bottle go like, you know, to the point where it's that much is gone, then I know that, you know, things were trying to happen, but you don't have to worry about it. Don't put anything into it, no meaning. Just know that's how much you were protected. I mean, my husband rolled his truck, and that was scary. And you look at all the things that happened, and you know you were protected. So it's pretty amazing to see how much protection you get. So I got First Light, which is beginning a new cycle. And, you know, I think that this class is automatically going to align us all into that new cycle. This is a perfect time to strengthen the path and open it up to what we want, but also have the protection that we need. And these are also something that are traditionally given to people. Sometimes people do it as a house blessing. You can do it as a wedding gift. Some people will put a little note inside so you can put names of people, but traditionally what I taught you tonight or today is what we do, is how we make it. You can add whatever you want to it. Just doing this is going to keep you protected. So I hope you enjoyed this. Yes, you could. You could make one. Oh, that'd be amazing. House blessing, keep this by your door. It'll protect you. And you can even explain to them. I'm going to post a picture because I promised that one girl. You can even explain to them that if it disappears, or you can take note on it when you visit, you know, check in 6 months and see and be like, oh my God, you were like so protected this year. And just be grateful that you have that protection. And I hope you love it. So yeah, have fun. You can make it nice. Some people paint their bottles. Some people add clay things, glue things. Make it wonderful. And I'll let you go. So thank you for joining me today. I'm sorry I kept you so long. And you're very welcome. Many blessings to you. Bye-bye. I'm so glad you loved it. Bye-bye.